还说在萨斯卡通市继续探访萨省理工学院的不同校区，因为萨省理工它的很多专业是跟实际工作密切结合的，所以像有一些工科类的这种校区的话呢，就直接建在工业区了。那么今天我们要去探访的呢，是它的这个木工教室。那么木工我们知道呢，是在加拿大非常受欢迎的一个高薪蓝领的一个岗位。那么怎样才能成为一个木工呢？怎样才能拿到在加拿大或者整个英联邦得到承认的 Red Seal 红印木工证书呢？那么今天呢，和海叔一起，我们去萨省理工的木工专业去探访一下。前面那些就是
这边
哦，这就是一所学校，能看出来吗？萨省理工学院，大家看到了吗？哇塞，这个校园很独特啊！谢谢。两重门，现在这先换衣服。这一排柜子真实，这个地方冬天还是气候很冷的啊。大家看看啊，进入这个课堂之前，必须要把眼睛保护好，还把脚保护好。来看看啊，看到了，这是学习怎么砌墙的。
We focus on like the construction, renovation, and repair and maintenance of buildings. So our course is kind of laid out in the progression that we would build it. We start kind of from the ground up with site preparation, getting the area ready for the build, and then we start with a foundation build, floors, walls, roof, and then we go to finishing. So we do exterior finish. We move inside, we do interior finish, so insulation, vapor barrier, that kind of thing. Moisture control is a big one. And then interior finishes, so all your different kind of floorings, your different kind of wall finishes, whether it's paneling, hardwood, or drywall, whatever it is. And then we get moving to like cabinets and countertops and that kind of thing, right? And then all of our trim casing work and all that. So that's the more or less like kind of the outline that we follow from beginning to end. Some of the areas that are kind of like niche in there are that we cover talking about building stairs and building cabinets. Those things here at least are being done more in fabrication shops, but we still go over the principles of how to do it. And we do have them do projects. In fact, when we go in there, you'll see the level 4s, they have a bunch of stairs that they've built with railings and everything. So they went through that whole process. So you'll be able to see those projects there. And then as well, they're in the middle of building cabinets. So cabinets for walls, cabinets for counters, everything, all that stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so they kind of get a little bit. And our level 3s right now are learning to build door frames and then put the doors in.
Wow.
And then all the adjusting, right? Because we spend all the time adjusting doors here all the time. Right, it's one of the greatest skills we need as carpenters. I find I'm always adjusting doors. So, yeah, so this is actually some of the most applicable things that we're working on right now.
Interesting.
So let's head on in and we'll take a look. Right. So when we just head in, they're going to be working right here. So what we'll do is we'll just head down the side at first, and we'll grab some safety glasses.
Yes.
And throw them on, and then we'll be able to have free reign.
OK, thank you, Ray. 我们要戴眼镜啊。还要穿铁头鞋，哇 ，It's amazing. Whole building.
We'll follow you.
Okay.
Whole room.
All right. So I've got a few sets here. These ones might fit over top of your glasses.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what we've got the ongoing struggle these days as glasses have gotten bigger and bigger. All right, so broad strokes, general setup of the shop. So we have our workbenches in the one area where we do a lot of, like anytime that we need our workbenches to fabricate, we do that in level 1 a lot. We build things like sawhorses, and they get practice on the tools. A lot of our finer, smaller projects will be here. The open area is what we use when we set up a floor system or a wall system or a roof system. We'll set them up and then take them back down using that. And then here we have all of our stationary tools. So right now what you're seeing is they're using all these tools to build the cabinets. So it starts with, we have several different table saws. We use those saws to cut down all the panels from, we have a lift over there, and we'll come and take a look at it. Right, so we're starting with full 4 foot by 8 foot sheets of this melamine product, and then we break it down to the sizes we need using the different table saws. We've got our 2 saw stop table saws, and we have our cabinet saw specific for cutting melamine, that white one there. And then after they've got that all down to size, then what we're going to do is fasten. We have a lot of different hardware and whatnot, and that orange tool that you can see in the back there, that's the press that allows us to drill all the little holes for the adjustable shelves, as well as put in the holes for all the cabinet hinges. Right? And then after that, they're going to build what we call shaker doors. So they take a bunch of wood and they cut it down and they mill it, and they create that door panel. Right? And that's what they're working on right now. You can see a bunch of them are working on that, and they're sanding them to get them perfectly smooth. And that's what some of these fancier tools over here are. Right. So for example, like this here, to make sure that their doors are as smooth as possible, this is our thickness sander. So this sends through, and we can set it to 0.1 millimeters at a time. So really, really fine sanding. Not something we would use for construction of a building, but something that we would definitely use in finishing, for sure. Yeah, so it's a very, very fine tool. And then actually, if you want to take a look over here, we'll come around and you can see what this group is doing right now is they're actually fastening laminate countertop to the base. So they're building basically one of these, right? They've got the base inside, and now they're putting this hard finish on top so that it's waterproof, it's damage proof, right? It's very durable. And the cabinets they're building are actually being shipped out for a, I don't remember the exact name, but it is for a reserve, I believe, that is putting up a building, some modular buildings. So we're building the cabinets for them, for that project. So they're applying the countertop right now using contact cement, and they're rolling it out so it sticks real nice and tight. And that's what they're working on right there. So, wow. Right, so that's our level 4 apprenticeship. And then this is our little fake building that we use for all of our little practices. So we've taken a building, we've shrunk it down a little bit. We have a bunch of little rooms inside for all the students to practice doing their finishing work, right? So this group right now, these are level 3 apprentices, and they constructed their own door frames and put them in the openings for the doors, and then now they're hanging the doors, including cutting in their own hinge gains, so where the hinges get attached, the doorknob holes and everything on the frame and on the doors. So we can actually wander through there and take a quick look at what they're doing. All right. So what they've done is they've created these frames around the outside, and now they're going to be putting the doors in, and they have to get that whole unit to sit, look good, and operate properly, right? So they learn right from the beginning all the different dimensions and how to take all the measurements, because as you get into finishing, every little millimeter matters, right?
So they build the whole fake building? I mean, the students build the whole...
the students don't... This one stays. We just keep reusing it.
Oh, keep using
eventually, student will learn how to build it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the students at this stage, they're level 3s. They already know how to build this part. Okay. But it just stays up for projects.
Right.
Because we will do... Yeah, it's a frame that stays up so that we can do the projects in it with the level 3.
So nowadays they learn how to build the outlet.
So the siding, the covering... Yeah, so this is... The siding we do in level 2. So that would be something that's going to be covered in the certificate program if they come to Moose Jaw, right? So they would learn to do the siding They learn to do all of the frame, the floor, right, the wall system, all of that. They put the siding on. They learn to do the roof, shingles on top of the roof. They learn all of that already before level 3.
So they're doing this in a certificate program.
They're doing this in the certificate program. In fact, the certificate program is one of the things that they do. They kind of have this capstone project. They build sheds, right? So we'll usually build a shed, something like 10 foot by 8 foot type shed. So they build the floor, build the walls, put a door in it, a window in it, siding, build the roof, shingles, all of the trim, the overhang, everything. And then when it's all said and done, they sell them, right? Or they donate them to Goodwill or whatever programs that they have running at the time, right? So yeah, they get to see the entire process from the beginning to the end, right?
And finally, the mobile house will be sold.
Yeah, so
will you sell this one?
This one, no. This one would not be sold, mostly because it would just be impractical. It's not a very practical layout,
okay.
right? Because like these rooms inside, they're quite small.
Oh, quite small. Oh.
Right, like this is quite small because it has a door, a closet, but the closet isn't deep enough for anything.
Yes.
It has a window in it, and then the same thing on the other side.
Oh.
So it's just kind of like a little like bay for the student to do all the practice. So they get to practice putting in this type of door. Right now they're working on putting up bifold doors, which are more using closets. And then later on in another course, they'll learn to do all the casing and trim around it, including around the window as well. Right, so this is just like, it's not a very practical
The space is too
or
small.
to live in or anything, but it's a good space for them to practice in.
Yes.
Yeah, so
It's interesting.
we can go around and take a look at it. And so the funny thing about this specific building is that when I went through school and I was getting my red seal, I helped build this. We built this in my class. So I built the floor and the walls and everything, and I remember doing that. I didn't do the roof. The roof part was put on by another class later on, but I actually got to help build this structure. That was a long time ago already, but we've been using it for years. Yeah, it's still really good. Right? And then we had another class, a level 4 class, built the stairs for it. Right? So it was a very good practical application of that kind of thing.
Right. So inside there's a stairs to go to the second level.
Yeah, so right here, we can actually go up there if you want. Right?
Oh.
So did you want to go
It's a lift.
upstairs?
想去楼上吗？
Okay.
What are we looking for?
想去楼上吗？
I mean, here's the machine. How do you call this one? Lifter?
Our forklift? Yeah.
A forklift.
Yeah, it's called a forklift. Yeah.
Oh,
So
to move this.
that's to move all of this stuff around. Yeah.
Oh, move this
because when it's heavy.
Yeah, it's very
just heavy to move all of this stuff. And because depending on what projects we are working, we often have to rearrange the shop, right? Because all those tables, they're all on wheels. We can move them, but again, they're heavy, so we'll rearrange as necessary. The only things that don't move are the stationary tools that are attached to the dust collection system, right? You can hear that little humming. We have our dust collector. It sucks all of the dust, and then we can take a quick look outside if you want to see it.
Oh, ventilation.
So it pulls it all out and then it dumps it into the bin down here, right? To help keep the dust down in the shop. Otherwise, it would be almost impossible to breathe in there.
No.
Right? And then we provide dust masks as people, if they want, they can have the dust mask. For certain projects, we'll require it. The ones that make a little more dust, depending on what products we're working with. Because we do work with a lot of different products. Sometimes they're wood, sometimes they're, plastics and metals and things. So it depends what we're doing. So yeah, but we can go up top and then you can get a good overhead view if you wanted.
And there too.
Yeah, so up here is where we store some of our material, but also we have a little bay here for them to practice installing like specialty doors. So this is a pocket door. This would be when it's open, it's hidden inside the wall, right? And we have our bypass doors. So these ones go past each other so they can be this way or this way, kind of thing. However neat. And then up here is where we practice putting in a suspended ceiling, which is what you would see in all the classrooms in the here, right? Where you have all those metal tracks and everything's either squares or rectangles, right? So they actually practice installing all of that, which is what we have stored just over here. Right? We have all of our pieces for that. Right? And then we keep all of our doors here, right? And this is what we call a roof truss package, right? So for the rafters for a roof, most of the time here in like North America, we build everything with trusses nowadays. So a factory will design and build them, and then they get shipped out, and then we have to put them up and install them all in place. And that's what this is. This is a sample package. So we'll set up little walls on the ground, pretending that that's the building, and then they will build the roof on top of that, right? So they get hands-on practice with how it's commonly done out in the field, and not just, you know, something that isn't maybe as practical.
All right. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, so we do all of that, and then, you know, we
It's an
also
indoor construction site.
yeah, so it really covers like, and this is mostly all residential, like small building construction for the most part. We do have, it's mostly in the higher level courses, but we talk a lot about commercial work as well, concrete structures, not so much steel working because it is its own trade, but we as carpenters often have to do formwork for concrete. So we learn concrete stair forms, how to like create concrete stairs. We learn how to build like the multi-story like slab work, suspended slab and all that stuff. And that's actually one of the projects that the level 3s would have already done this year, right? We have our little storage facility outside. You can see out the window there, that fenced in compound back there. We have more storage, so we'll bring stuff in as needed and we'll set it up, right? And we'll set up everything ready to pour concrete. We don't actually pour the concrete, but then we move on, right? And right from the beginning, in the certificate course, we teach fundamentals of concrete, and you know, a lot of foundation work here is concrete work. So we teach form work for all foundation stuff and all that. So, yeah.
Sounds great.
Are there any questions, or you just want to have some time to just mill around and see some stuff?
It's hard for me, you know, to have any question at this moment.
Yeah,
I was
so
just
yeah, take a few minutes, mill around, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask anybody, ask the students what they think of it and all that stuff. I know that there might be some in here that have gone through a certificate program already, right? Because the certificate is a transition into apprenticeship afterwards, right? Before you can get a red seal as a carpenter. But yeah, the certificate program, I just think it's so excellent for anybody who doesn't have experience to just get there. Even if you don't go the whole way to get the red seal, it just gives you such a good starting point, kind of thing. So.
感谢沙神理工老师的精彩讲解。这呢就是加拿大的职业技术学院或者理工学院培养木工的教学场地的实景。不知道大家看了之后有何感想？欢迎这个留言和海叔一起分享。那么如果你想来加拿大来萨省理工学木工的话呢，也可以跟海叔联系。我的微信号是 Canada9989。如果你对于来加拿大来萨斯卡通留学还有其他方面的一些想法和问题的话呢，那么也可以加海叔的微信，还是 Canada9989。那么海叔这里呢有一些专门的这个闭门讲座，可以跟大家一起分享一些更丰富的信息，包括在当地的这个生活方式啊、生活费用啊，以及孩子教育等等。好，今天我们的节目就做到这里，希望大家记得关注海叔的频道，点赞、留言、转发给更多的朋友，谢谢大家。
Basic knowledge, like civil engineering knowledge, do we need to learn those information?